report prep again, and we're here today to learn about object drawing and character rotation and how does that relate to one another. And that feeds into the courses that the students are learning here right now about this character design, and eventually they're going to rotate those characters. So we're in the object drawing classes, we're getting that kind of information. So I'm going to show the students here and you guys an example of what we're shooting for. So I'm just going to go to screen share here. So give me a minute, everybody. Let me get this up and go back to screen share. So every once in a while I just give little snapshots for people out there watching. Like, it's kind of how Sam found us, right? I mean, you saw a video or something about last year's summer camp, right? So, all right, so you see, these are examples of past students who have been accepted at Sheridan College for animation. Whoa, scrolling too fast there. And so Daniel Spragus. So here's an example of a character rotation. And we need to start being able to draw a character that they look the same no matter how we rotate them, right? So usually side view is easy for people, sometimes front view. It gets a little more tricky how to do 3/4 view or back view. And so you can see that they're using some guidelines across there, right? So that's one of the things that Garth is going to teach you. But also, do you notice the feet also have perspective? Right? So these are things we're going to start looking at. But to be able to do that out of your imagination, it helps to have some understanding of three-dimensional form, right? And how the laws of form and perspective, geometrics, how that all works. And even when you look at this character sketch, so this is the character you're showing, and then you're having him have different expressions and still look like the same character. So that's part of the skill you have to develop. But when you look at these drawings, can you see how they're drawing as if they can see through things? Notice the stripe on his beak, right? Do you see that? So we're going to learn about that today by looking at simple shapes, the cylinder and boxes, and then we're going to be using see-through boxes, and then we're going to end up putting our characters and things inside those just to start understanding 3D. And then we have a graphics student with us too, and we also have a couple of people who are thinking, oh, maybe I want to do graphics. And so with graphic design, of course, a lot of times it's two-dimensional, but we also have that our logo designs have to be on objects, right? They have to be turning around a package. And so we have to think about that design-wise, and then can we draw that to present our ideas? So that's what we're going to be doing today, so that we could shoot towards this. Do you see, can you see those fine lines? Do you see how this person built this character, not just with the ovals that we were learning about yesterday, this sort of front, sort of longitudinal, as I call them, like front views, ovals of the bird, but do you see that it also has dimension front to back? Can you see those guidelines? So that's what we're going to start shooting towards, understanding that. Like when you guys were drawing Rocky, the dog, yesterday, I was suggesting that you start thinking about the front side and the back side of him. These examples of past. One of the things that you have to include in your portfolio is drawing a room setting. If it's an illustration, they want a room setting point of view, like where you're seeing from one point of view, and then you have to draw from what you're looking at another point of view. So in the animation, you have a couple characters you have to draw in a situation in a room, 2 different points of view. So this one's not bad, but there are perspective errors. You see here, convergence is too rapid. Remember, we were starting to learn just a little bit about that, and not quite in agreement. It's not bad though, right? The other thing we're seeing in this drawing is a sense of atmospheric perspective. Garth started to tell you a little bit about line quality, right? Yeah, like the cat, this is pretty well done. See, the cat's head is a heavier line, and as you go back, we get softer lines, so it feels more dimensional. And even this fellow here, his foot, this could be lighter, a little bit, especially the one back here, so that his head would pop out more. Did a good job of that with the dresser though, right? Being a little stronger in the foreground, and you notice the desk is very faint and soft, right? So that's good. Continue to scroll down. So here's this. Do you see this is the same room setting? So you notice the cat's tail? So we saw the boy and the cat, and now we're seeing what's the cat looking at, the mice coming, right? Now this is what my goal. So Garth is here teaching you about character design, and David Caesar came to teach about portraiture and art practice. You've been learning painting, and so for your environments from Meredith, my goal is to teach you about object drawing. One of the required pieces is to draw a before and after scene. You need to show them, so this is the before. You need to show them that you fully understand three-dimensional form and how to capture it on a flat plane. That those objects are properly formed, that that they all belong to the same plane and they don't feel twisted. And this is pretty good. It's not perfect, but it's good. In my guess, from seeing how they drew that, I'm pretty sure they took illustration. They were in the object drawing course at Sheridan, just judging. Do you see how there's these little perspective boxes around the ellipses and how they've divided that? That's some of the stuff we used to teach in that program. And to me, do you think the top of the martini glass and the top of the Kleenex box, do they feel like they belong to the same tilt, the same plane? Not quite, right? What do you think is wrong with that? What did they miss? You can see too much of the opening. Yeah, you can see too much of the opening, right? It looks like it's tilting towards us a bit compared to the top of the Kleenex box. So those are things that we're going to be addressing today. And what I like about this too, that with Nina joining us, having a goal to get into graphic design, is it starts to come into play with the product design, right? Here's one of the other tasks. You have to do a storyboard, just 4 panels in a progression of a story. And they give you a very loose scenario, and they give you your characters, and you have to come up with a story and convey it. And again, you have to show that evidence of understanding form. So here's one of the other required drawings, is drawing a hand. And the hand is now not to be drawn with shading, but just with line, whether you're applying for illustration or animation. But they want a sense of volume. And so do you see how, I don't know if you can see that. I think you can. There's the oval here of the thumb muscle. So this is like how we were looking at Rocky yesterday, right? And you see this oval, this ellipse here of the thumb joint. This is the front edge of the thumb that we see. Here's the back edge of the thumb that we don't see, right? All the joints, do you see looking down the finger here, how this is much more round? We're seeing down the finger, so we have full circles. Where there's more foreshortening, let's say this joint here, it's more of an ellipse, right? This is quite a squished ellipse there. So really understanding the form of the hand. So we've got Jordan Massengale coming next week to teach you about the hand. Look at the wrist. I don't know if I agree with this. That ellipse there is not quite right. It's like rubber wrist, right? How could that be possible? But still, it's a great drawing. And do you notice the median lines of the fingers too? So we get a sense of like look at how it bent down the thumbnail there across. So the direction, remember we've been telling you when you were drawing your Rocky yesterday, have that median line of the curve of his spine. So those are really good essentials to use. And then also notice how the line weight, they're expressing the compression here, right? And we've got thicker lines for what's in front and thinner lines for what's in behind. So those are things that you're going to be learning about from us over the next while. And the hand has to do something. It has to have an action. Some like anticipating an action is the first screen. Do you see that? Anticipation, something's going to happen, and then something happens. Lovely drawing. Look at the fingertips. Aren't these great? All right, so this is what you're working towards. Now, and we want to help you developing your ideas that maybe not the same old things we've seen 1,000 times. Like, this is really well done and it's awesome, but lighting a lighter isn't the most original thing. So we're going to challenge you guys to come up with really good ideas. Then you see the life drawing. So we'll look back at these things again. Why I wanted to show you this is to understand why we're going to be drawing objects. Even when you look at that cat's ears, you see the volume there. Actually, that's not a cat. What is that, a lemur? What is that? Figure drawing, nice examples. Right, remember we're talking about going down to the Royal Winter Fair, right? That's probably what this person did, unless they lived on a farm. Going down, draw the cows. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah. So, the pig. And you notice the line, right? And even some of this stuff that David and Garth had mentioned to you about the third line, the shadow side, right? Good stuff. Oh, I like this actually. This has that same quality, this particular artist on this sketch. Oh, both of them. Do you see the ellipses around the legs and the torso? Getting a sense of the action and the tilt of the body, right? So this is some of the, we're going to be looking at those kind of concentric circles or concentric ellipses on simple geometric shapes today, so that we could do this kind of thing, right? So, all right, so you get the idea of what that's going to be about, right? It helps us with foreshortening too, looking down the limbs to understand the front to back. So you can see the kind of quality they're looking for, but you also saw Garth's example too of what got him in, right? His life drawing wasn't quite as developed at the time, it is now, but and then there's pieces like your own pieces, like so this person has you know, some comic strip stuff. You know, I mean, this is not the best drawing, but when it's in with all their other pieces, it's good, right? So they've got different artists here. So you can see similar subjects they're given to draw, similar story, but they do it in their own way, right? Adam and the box. But you see, because it's Adam and the box, or the cat, I forget the cat's name, and the box, they give you different characters and a box. See, we have to draw boxes. So my job is to teach you how to draw a box. You know, those taps there are cylinders. So are the fingers, right? So is even the water spout. So here's his objects. Hey, Julia, do you think you could sit on a different stool? It creeps less. Thanks. Here we have a cone. The cone is rather warped, though. And the perspective of this is kind of warped. For this Kleenex box is 2D. Well, just as creaky. Oh, well. So can you see that? That there's not enough foreshortening on the top of this box, but they still got in, so that's good, right? But we're going to help you learn how to make it look like it's all on the right plane. That's our goal. And then you want something interesting, and we're going to get at storytelling here, though, right? So we're going to help you kind of push yourself to really come up with creative ideas, because what's an animated story It's right. It's story. It's not just that we can draw. So then we have your own character that you rotate, right? So this is what we're going to be looking at, some basic geometry, so that you can end up doing this, and then plus you're going to get character design fundamentals from Garth so that you can create those. So here, this person's life drawing isn't as strong as the others, but you know, maybe you'll notice some people, their storytelling or their characters are more developed, where other people are maybe better drafts people. And that's okay. You don't have to all have equal level of skill on everything, because there's so many different jobs within animation. Okay. This is nice. Look at his character rotation. Pretty cool, eh? It's solid. Right? This is nice, like the movement. And so do you see like the arc, the median arc, the arc of the shoulders, legs, do you see how there's like circles and cylinders and cones making up, what is it?
It's a zebra.
It's a zebra, because zebras have tails like that. Yes, it's a zebra. Good. Very cool, right? Good attitude. Yeah, look at the action. So like some of you might say, maybe I'm not awesome at life drawing, but I'm great at character. I'm great at object. I'm really good at form drawing. I'm great at motion or expression. Like you're going to want to let what's special and strong about you really stand out, and then you just do your best with some of the other sort of supporting skills, right? But this guy is really good at form and being able to take form and make fantastic expression. And you can notice from looking at this where he or she might have done some learning. What character do you know out there that this person might have looked at for some inspiration, perhaps? What character have you seen out there that is reminiscent of this one?
That movie.
Which movie?
Madagascar,
maybe, yeah. I can think of another one. Did you ever watch El Dorado?
Yes.
That horse, love that. Altivo. Yes, like, right? Some of that. Yeah, wonderful. So it's good to look at the masters, like Garth was saying, look at these expressions. Aren't they wonderful? So this is what we're going to learn from Garth. How do you make happy, sad, angry? How do you make a character seem like a villain versus a good guy, right? So here you go. Here's what we're going to learn about today. All right? So that you could do something like this, see? About to open and then open. There's a little bit of a problem with that container, though. A little bit. It's not bad. It's a Vaseline container. So does this feel like the same container, though? Not quite. It's good. It's good, and I like, this is cool. This stringy stuff. I love that part. But that could have been more in accord with each other. So, and this is the kind of stuff I love. When it comes to shapes, I get a little, not quite where, David Caesar is. I brought in some examples on the wall of some of my architectural illustrations for you guys. And I actually, not because I couldn't draw the shingles and bricks, but because I didn't want to, I'd hire somebody else to do that. Because they would drive me insane to draw them much. Oh, this is kind of cool. They did some distortion, right? So learn some basics of perspective, and then how do you distort it for creative effect, right? And we're going to learn about like dynamic composition and three-point perspective for drama from Jordan Massengale when he comes next week. So this is all good stuff. All right. So, okay, I'm going to stop this, and we're going to start some learning about how to look at objects. And if anybody's watching this, we do film some of our sessions here, and then we end up editing it and putting it out there so that you can learn from this. Because it's not always the easiest thing to find, like really good object drawing lessons. So, but there's lots of other good YouTubers out there, and We will be giving you guys a list. So Garth has a list of recommendations and resources so you can continue your learning.